JT, Justin Timberlake, Rocky Bhatia. Last leg of conversation with Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer at SBI Funds Management. That's Ashwani Bhatia.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Now, your last four digits are 4479, but you haven't given your name, though it's not really such a khufia message. Keeping the current PMC bank issue in mind, since you headed the banking side earlier, Mr. Bhatia, could you please comment on if a bank goes down, does RBI cover the customers, stroke investors' investments, as RBI has its own funds, which was in the news recently?
So, deposits are covered to the extent of 1 lakh rupees per customer. So, if you have a deposit of up to 1 lakh, it's fully covered. RBI does not cover investments. That's not RBI's mandate, number one. There's actually an organization called the DICGC, the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation, that takes care of deposit insurance, and that's up to 1 lakh. Investments are not covered by RBI. That's not RBI's mandate.
Okay, Sunita Bhuyan says, very, very critical discussion today. Thank you very much, Ashwani Bhatia and Hrishi K. Thank you, Sunita. I hope all the violin playing is going very well. Now, I alluded to this just before we went into the messages. There's been so much turbulence in the NBFC sector, the HFC sector. How are you combating that turbulence, the mutual fund industry?
So, I think you get these economic cycles every 5 years, 10 years. We had one in 1999, 2000, then we had in 2008-9, we had one in 2013. Now, we are having one currently, NBFCs and HFCs. So, unfortunate that it has happened, and it has happened at this scale. It started, of course, with ILFS, and then it spread. So, my message to every listener or your customer is that when you invest with an understanding. Go with the right funds. Understand your risk appetite, what you want to do. And even if you have an advisor, it's good that, once a while you have a look at the portfolio, where you have, or of the scheme that you have invested in. Talking about economic growth and all, again, there are economic cycles. We are seeing one. Our potential growth rate is maybe 8 or 9%. Today you are at 5. But look at it in the global context. $17 trillion worth of bonds globally are trading at below zero. We are still growing at 5. And all these things that you are currently seeing, slow down, and housing sales coming down, car sales coming down. I'm sure this will go up soon. The government, on its part, has done the big time structural regulation changes that it needed to do. And just come to think of it, last 3 years, what all they've done. They've done DMON, they've done GST, they've done IBC, they've done whole host of things. So now an economy that is used to, a certain amount of, not used to disruption, if I may say, these actions are very good in the long term. And I'm sure going forward, just take the case of demonetization, for example. Everything comes into the banking system. Everything can be tracked. Our tax collection systems have improved dramatically. GST will actually change all that also. So we are moving. I think we'll move very fast from developing. Our GDP currently is $2,000. It will very fast move to 4,000. But some pain has to be shared by all. This is that small phase. I guess when we meet next year, you won't be talking about NBFCs and HFCs.
My last question is, your current campaign, which talks about, partners in growth with equity funds, and just elaborate on that before we say bye to you.
So our tagline is, we are partners for your growth. Again, there's a story behind it. So State Bank of India says that we want to be a banker to every Indian. Our vision is to be the wealth manager to every Indian. So If State Bank of India has 42 crore customers, and currently we are at about 80 lakhs or so, which is just 2% of the customer base of the State Bank. And if you look at the population at large, this is going to grow because, as I told you earlier, this is structural in nature. So we want to be partners in your growth, in the growth of your money, in the growth of your wealth. Invest well, relax, leave everything to the fund managers.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your time and your patience, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.
Thank you, Hrishi.
Up ahead, our World Heart Week campaign, Heart to Heart. Don't go anywhere.